guys, welcome to Crafting with Kristi. This is Sanctum of a Lost Age Part 4. We had the game tonight, so here it is in all its glory. Here's a shot of the game board before we started playing. This goes on for a minute. It's just a bunch of freeze frame shots so that way you guys can actually see the board. Here's the board sideways. To the right you can see some players on the very bottom hand. It's kind of hard to see them. We were waiting for everybody to come to the table. They were eating dinner before we started playing. This is a shot from last week, just basically an overhead showing you guys the whole board again. And here are my players. Our dwarf is turned around backwards in the back, unfortunately, and we didn't turn him around in time when we took the photo. And there are close-up photos at the very end of this video of everybody, so stay tuned for that. And here we go. These are my monsters that I played with for the game. No, we didn't have a Cthulhu monster. These are just representations of monsters. We don't have all the right minis, so it works for us just to stick something out there. This was the second room they came into. All the chairs and doors correspond to different colors, which correspond to different sigils, which they got on their hands in the first room. They stuck their hand into a statue and it tattooed or burned a sigil into their hand, and only that sigil could open the doors of corresponding color. The right door was fallen into, basically, and their hand hit it. It was kind of funny. These are supposed to be smoke clouds. There's a gold one and a silver one. They're important for later. They'll transport players to the other side of the map. That's the only way to get there. Here I'm letting two of my newest players fight a mummy to give them a little chance to actually learn how to play in fighting, basically. This is just one of the rooms. I had gold and treasure chests and stuff and dead corpses laying around. In this shot, they're fighting an air elemental in this same room to be able to get out of the room, because once they fought the mummy, all the doors locked and they couldn't get out until they killed the air elemental. Yes, that's a blue cotton ball. It worked for an air elemental for us. Use what you got, right? In this hallway is our newest player. He's a fighter. His name is Langer. In the corner on the bottom you can see Frank the squirrel. When they find Frank, they receive 50 experience points. It's just my little Easter egg to help them out. Those little pieces are chess pieces. I'll show a close-up in just a minute. Here's our players in that same hallway, looting the room, looking for treasure, and talking to Rosimus of Timon. He's stuck in the time loop, and they were talking to him to try to figure out how to get him out. With diplomacy, they were able to get his ion stone, which is important later. In this shot, if you look in the left top corner, you'll see a very tiny blue dot. That is Sonic the Hedgehog. Players get 100 points for finding him. So, he's really hard to find. They just searched the room and I let them find him. Again, another Easter egg. In this room, they're fighting what looks like a pseudo-dragon, but it's not a pseudo-dragon. I don't remember what it's called. Behind them is a rejuvenating pool. Sorry, couldn't think of what to say. They were supposed to fight like a whole bunch of other monsters before this, but they went left, and I had to just kind of go with it. Like I always do as the DM, you just kind of got to roll with it and make stuff up off the top of your head. Like I think somebody got a rat's toe today. This is our fighter again. He touched the pillar and got transported, so he was kind of out of the game for a little bit. And then you'll see him and our sorcerer in just a moment. They're trying to talk to a guy that I can't remember his name off the top of my head, sorry. And what they did was they did a blackout spell and ran into the room behind them where all the other ion stones were in a time lock, and they were trying to destroy the time lock to be able to get out of the room. Well, what they didn't realize is when they touched the ion stones, those little stones in the corners, or tried to break it if they didn't roll a will save, they were stuck in the time lock too until it could be broken, which it was broken pretty quickly after that. So unfortunately they were out half the game. Here's our players just kind of like looting through a storeroom. There were barrels and stuff in there. They took them out when they looted them because the lids came off, so we actually handed to them to let them loot them. This is at the end after they killed off the last guy and stopped the time lock. There's a corpse marker on the table to represent a dead guy, obviously, and Steve the goat is making an appearance. There's a blood bucket on the floor, if you can see it. And this is just all the players just standing in the room. I had them all put their pieces back so that way I could take this photo, because by this time we'd already cleaned up and we're getting ready to leave. So I really appreciate you guys watching, and don't forget about my 100 subscriber contest I have going on. If you don't know what it is, go check out my video before this one, and also check out my Facebook page and my Twitter page. I post updates all the time. And again, stay tuned for close-ups of my players minis rather, I'm sorry to say. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for watching.